Hello, everybody. So today I discuss with Adrian, the subconscious surgeon, and I want this podcast episode to be a practical one. So I want it to be an episode that you can save and go back to maybe in a few years' time as well. And so we will dive right into it with the first question that I have for you, which is, could you explain what is the link between the subconscious mind and the reality we experience?
That's a great question. The way I like to describe how our subconscious mind creates our reality is in the terms of augmented reality. Earlier on, you were using the meta glasses.
Yes.
And with those, you can have a form of augmented reality. You can be walking down the street and look at a building, and it will go, oh, this is building. It was built in 1984, and you look at a sign, and then it will translate it if you're in a different country.
Yes.
And what it can do is it projects information onto your field of vision.
Yes.
Now, subconscious means means below, conscious means
Okay.
your awareness.
Okay.
So this operates as a system that's below your awareness.
Mhm.
The classic example of this for the Western world is when we go out and we buy a new car, for
Yes.
example.
Okay.
And you look around and you find a car, wow, I want one of those, I like it, and you get it and you're driving home, and then there's one over there. Oh, there's another one over there.
Yes.
And suddenly they're everywhere.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Our mind has a Google search engine algorithm part of our brain we call the reticular activating system,
Okay.
the RTA, the reticular activating system. The reticular activating system, in essence, is an algorithm that searches for information that's important to us, that's pertinent to what we, in this case, you bought a car,
Yeah.
your subconscious goes, oh, you like that car. Right. Well, in your peripheral vision right now is exactly the
Exactly
same
this car.
car. Now, look over there. And then we look over there, we see it and we go, oh, there's another one.
Yes.
We don't realize that our subconscious mind told us to look over there.
Mhm.
We think that we randomly looked over there and saw it.
Okay.
But that's not the case.
Because it's
Our subconscious
subconscious.
mind is wanting to direct us. What you've got to look at it is like a piece of software and hardware.
Mhm.
That's ultimately what we are.
Yeah.
Your eyes are just like these cameras. We've got cameras that are recording us now.
Yes.
We might be recording at 4K.
Yeah.
Our eyes record at up to 475 megapixel.
That's good.
That's a huge amount of information. We can take up to 60 frames per second. When we're in kind of martial arts mode, or when we crash a car, we end up seeing it in slow speed.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like your car. When you your phone, when you put that onto recording high speed, you
Yeah.
take 240 frames per second.
Yes.
Which, when you play then at 24 frames per second, it slows time down.
Yeah.
We normally operate at 24 frames per second. Our eye's cyclical rate at taking 24 snapshots of pictures
Okay.
every second.
Mm.
In hyper mode, we take up to 60 frames per second, which 60 frames per second from two 475 megapixel cameras is nearly, it's over 50 gigabytes of information a second we are taking in our ocular cavities.
That's a good hardware.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, the challenge is that our mind, the bit that I'm talking to now,
Yeah.
that's processing this conversation,
Mhm.
can process 40 bits per second. Not
Oh.
40 megabits, not 40 million bits, not 40 gigabits, 40 bits,
Wow.
which is next to nothing.
Yes.
It's tiny.
Okay.
It can be trained and can go up to 60 bits.
Okay.
Ooh.
Wow. Yes.
But if you look at it from our perspective, we've got gigabytes of data of information going in,
Yeah.
but our conscious mind can only process 40 bits
Yes.
of it per second.
Yes.
So we need this, again, like the Google analogy. You put "I don't want stress" into Google, you'll get 333 million pages on stress.
Stress.
Doesn't see the "I don't want."
Yeah.
It works on a confirmation bias.
Yes.
So your bias at the moment when you've bought this new car is, "I like this car." Your subconscious goes, "Great, we'll look for more of them, and I will point them out as we go."
Yes.
That's what I mean by an augmented reality.
Okay, so the way you frame it is like to explain the subconscious mind and how it works. But now what I want to understand is in what way we can use it to actually create the reality we want. So it's more about maybe explaining in your own words the law of attraction, maybe. We met at your event. It was about the vision board and the law of attraction. So how can we benefit from this knowledge and get what we want out of life, basically?
This is a great phenomenon that people talk about, the law of attraction. It's a very esoterical framework around it.
Yeah.
And I'm very grounded and objective in many ways. I am quite woo-woo in some ways, in some of my thought processes, but I ground these in a good form of reality as well.
Okay.
Is the law of attraction real? One of my projects, the Ashta project, is all designed around how can we objectively measure? Is there some esoterical mechanisms that are going on which can't be explained in any other way?
Okay.
Or is it a pure function of the mind? Is there no woo-woo involved, no
purely
esoterical
science.
stuff? It's just pure understood science and how the brain operates.
Okay.
And I think it can be explained in both ways simultaneously, which is kind of fascinating.
Yeah.
Again, if you look at the augmented reality,
Mhm.
our brain looks for confirmation bias.
Yeah, all the time.
The key then is understanding what your biases are.
Okay.
Very simple.
Wow. What do
You don't get what you want out of life, you get what you expect, because your expectation is what's driving your search engine algorithm in your reticular activating system to look for evidence of it through this huge amount of data that we are streaming in to this AI that we have in our mind. This is the first large language model that was ever created.
Yeah, so for example, you took the example of the car, the new car. So that's where we put the attention. So we were gonna see every same cars.
Yeah.
Is it the same with kind of the law of attraction? If you want this, you just need to put your attention to this. Is it kind of
In some ways, in a very basic,
Basic.
rudimentary way, yeah.
Yeah.
To expand upon that, again, it's the story where as humans, all we do is operate in a place of story.
Yeah.
I am English, I am certain age, I have a certain education, my family dynamics, the politics, the culture, all of these are part of our programming of our augmented reality,
Yeah.
our expectation matrix.
Yes.
If you, when you were a child or young teenager, you dated a narcissistic person
Mhm.
and they hurt you, that wound then becomes part of your story.
Mm.
I am hurt.
Mm.
All men, all women are XYZ. We label.
Yes.
And we do this as a self protective mechanism because
Yeah.
what we want to do is avoid that.
Yeah.
The irony is that it does totally the opposite.
Whoa.
Because now the car we're driving is all women or all men are narcissistic.
Whoa.
So our peripheral vision, everything like seeks evidence of that. Oh, they're over there. They're definitely narcissistic.
So
And it goes, look at them over there. And you go, oh, they're nice.
Mhm.
Oh, I like them. And then you go and then you get to know them. And then they come out with these character traits which prove that that's right. And it's like, ah, God, I told you.
So that's the bias.
That's the bias. We're looking for evidence to prove our beliefs correct.
Mm.
So the critical thing is, what is your beliefs?
Mm.
And you have to be able to objectively measure this because intuition. We will talk about this interesting phenomenon we call intuition.
Yeah.
And even if you're not, if you're grounded in science and all this kind of stuff, most people subscribe to this phenomenon we call intuition.
I won't agree with that.
You think?
Yeah, I think a lot of people would not agree that intuition is a thing. Yeah, like
Well,
rational, logical people who don't think about woo-woo stuff or are not that open-minded would say, no, I don't believe in intuition. There is fact, there is actions, and uh, yeah, you see?
the reason why I say that is from experience.
Yeah.
I've done workshops all over the world, hundreds and hundreds of them. And one of my questions usually is, like the workshop we did at
Oh,
Silicon
yeah.
Valley the other
Yeah.
day, I put my hand up and says, "Is there anybody here that doesn't believe in intuition?"
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think one or person put their hand up or
No, that's
whatever,
true. That's true.
but the
Yeah.
vast majority of people go, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah."
Yeah.
Even if it's not necessarily this esoterical field of
Yeah.
information
It's
that
more like
Einstein.
intuition in the
It's
way
just that
of
I
do you
just got
feel
this inner
that?
knowing.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And it might be that my psychology just has worked it out already
Mm.
subconsciously,
Mm.
and it's telling me the information. This is another description or explanation for intuition. If
Oh,
you look at the way your mind operates,
okay.
you've got the conscious part of your mind, the bit that's 40 bits per second.
Yeah.
Your subconscious operates at 40
Yeah,
million
yeah, yeah,
bits
yeah.
per second.
But you just gave me the first rational explanation of what intuition is, because in my mind, intuition was just we don't necessarily know how you know it, but you know it, and then you just said it's possible that it's your subconscious, so you're not capable of explaining why you feel that because your conscious mind is not capable of processing, but your subconscious gave you the information.
Correct.
Okay, good, thank you.
And it's the best way analogy that I could kind of create right now is like ChatGPT. Sometimes when you give it a complex question to work out this complex situation,
Mhm.
it might say, "Well, let me have a think about that, and I'll get back to you in a couple of hours' time." Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the way people subconsciously do this is like, "Oh, what's his name again?
Ah.
Oh, what's that? Oh, I'll think of it later.
Yeah, think of it
Yeah,
later.
I'll think of it
Yeah,
later."
it will come back.
And then an hour later, you go, "Fred! It was Fred! You weren't even thinking about it."
Yeah.
But your brain, the
Yeah.
way to look at your brain, it's like a librarian.
Okay.
All the information's filed away in all of its little library that we've got,
Mm.
and it's a very convoluted
Somewhere.
database.
Mm.
And sometimes it was like, I don't know where to put that book. And you go, "Well, you go find it,
So you go
and, I'll not think about it." And then 2 hours later, you sat drinking your coffee, talking to your mate, and you go, "Oh, Bob, fuck, oh, just a minute, I've got to message somebody," and it's totally random.
Yeah.
So this is how the subconscious operates. It's
Okay.
below your awareness.
Okay.
And if you look at it as pure processing power,
Mm.
as a computer,
Yeah.
if you've got a computer that can process things at 40 bits per second,
Mhm.
or you've got a computer that processes things at 40 million bits per second,
I want this one.
you want this one.
Yes.
Now, this one is what instructs that one to do the job.
Yes.
This one, it's like Google doesn't operate where you put "I don't want stress,"
Mm.
and it looks at it and goes, "Oh," probably the new AI version might do this now,
Right.
but the old version of Google would go, "Okay, stress, that's the key word. Let's look for websites with the word stress in it."
Yes.
Yeah, and it just goes out and scours and brings them all back and goes, "This one says stress, this one says stress, this." So this is how our life operates.
And that's how it we operate, and it means that just to explain the image about conscious and subconscious, it means you just said that this is a conscious that is going to give the order to the
The
subconscious, to
instruction,
the instruction.
yeah, the
So
prompt.
the prompt, so the goal of the vision board exercises is to actually write down what you want, to not use negative things like I don't want stress. because the subconscious won't understand that.
You've
So
hit
we'll
on a
go for
very good
stress,
key point there.
right?
A lot of people frame things that they want by framing it in the things that they don't want.
Yeah.
I want to be out of debt.
Yeah.
Debt's the key word.
Dead. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to find someone who isn't narcissistic. I'm fed up of, stressful relationships.
Yeah.
So what you want is, I want a loving, kind, considerate, conscious relationship with somebody who has the ability to self-reflect
Mm.
and admit they were wrong and
Mm.
change, which is usually the attributes that narcissistic people don't have.
Yeah.
So again, it's what you're putting in your search engine, which is critical.
Yeah.
But the more critical is your relationship with it. Because emotion is what drives these mechanisms.
Mm.
They
Yes.
say emotion is energy in motion, is a
Yeah.
more esoterical way of
That's
looking
beautiful.
at it.
Yeah.
And there's kind of interesting scientific corroborating phenomena.
Emotion is energy in motion.
Yeah. Now, the physiology, the neural physiology in our body
Mhm.
is when we have an experience, predominantly in our formative years, 80% of how we view reality is formed before we were 7 years old.
Whoa. Okay. Because the subconscious mind is wide open or something like that. It's
Yes,
so.
and it's a certain phenomena
Mhm.
that we go through is different stages.
Mhm.
So as a baby, from 1 till about 18 months to 2 years,
Mhm.
we're in this very present state.
Okay.
We're just here, right now.
Yes.
We're not processing reality.
Mm.
And our concept of reality has got a very small experience
Yeah.
envelope.
It's here and now.
Yes.
That's it.
This is why peekaboo works for a baby. You
Peekaboo.
go like this. Boom.
Oh yeah, I'm here. I'm not here because
Right?
that's how
Because they don't understand what the back of your hands are.
Yeah.
So when you go like that, you have disappeared completely.
Yeah.
You are not in the room anymore.
That's crazy.
And then when you go like this, you go, whoa, that's
He's back.
amazing. Where did
He's
you come from? Right?
Yeah.
And they're like, wow. And then you
Yeah.
go like that and they go, oh, where have they gone?
Yeah.
So it's a very present state.
Mhm.
There's many processes in the brain that are just not working.
Mm.
Now, at 18 months to 2 years, we start questioning our environment and interacting with it more. We call it the terrible twos.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah. And we go into this state where we call theta brainwave state.
Okay.
We've got different resonant frequencies. In a processor,
Yeah.
you have different resonant frequencies where it's a so many gigahertz processor.
Yeah.
Yeah. The higher the cyclical rate, the more processing information we can do.
Okay.
It's just basic computing.
Yeah.
Same with your brain.
Mhm.
So you've got different cyclical rates. So
Mhm.
theta brainwave state is around about the 8 hertz cyclical rate.
Okay.
And then you've got other ones, delta,
Mhm.
gamma, and
So we are quite still low.
so theta
Yeah.
brainwave state
Only 8.
is a hypnotic state. When people do meditation,
Mhm.
what they're attempting to do is enter theta brainwave state.
Okay.
It's where the logical part of our mind is switched off. We are far more present
Mm.
and we process things in a totally different way.
So we are more. Would you say that turning off the logical side of our being, we can be more in the heart and emotion? Would it be something like that?
It's more that we're in a receptive state
Receptive. Mm.
because we're not objectively questioning everything that we're seeing.
Yeah.
We're just going, oh, that's reality. Thank you. I'll take that on board.
Mm.
This is why kids love Santa and fairies and fairy tales, because they don't question it.
Yeah.
They go, Santa's real.
Believe it.
The tooth fairy's real.
Mm.
It came to me in the night and my tooth is gone and now I've got £1 or a dollar or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it's real.
Yeah.
We don't question, we don't think, Was it my mum or dad that came in? That comes later.
Okay.
The rational part of our mind is switched off.
Okay.
The reason is because if we were questioning everything, it would be very inefficient to load this. This is a large language model. This is our old school chat GPT. The
Yeah.
brain simply is a learning model. The more information it gets, the more it then starts creating and forming things about reality. But it needs a download programming stage, which isn't restricted by having to question everything that's coming in.
Okay.
And that's between 2 and 7 years old. We're in this theta brainwave state where we don't necessarily rationalize things, question things. We we might ask a lot of questions, but
Yeah.
we're wanting information.
Yes.
After 7 years old, about 80% of our worldview is cemented.
Okay.
So, how your family operate with
Mhm.
money, for example.
Yes.
Money's a conditioned, it's expectation.
Yeah.
I'm sure all our listeners at some point in time, there's a tradition in, when I say tradition, it's a idiosyncrasy that we have in England. If you ask for a present which is slightly beyond your family's budget, there's common phrases like, "Oh, money doesn't grow on trees."
Yes.
I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth.
Yeah.
It's what we're saying. We weren't born into luck. We weren't born into money.
Yeah.
Money's hard to come by.
So,
And then we start having these stories.
and this is
So
the
if
script. That is
if
that.
your
That's the
family's
script.
basically narrative was like, "Oh, money's hard to come by, you got to graft to get anywhere in life,"
Yeah.
then you get conditioned to believe that money's hard to come by and you've got to graft.
Okay. So maybe we can stay on that one. I would love to because it was one of my questions that I prepared. It's okay. I've been conditioned that way. Okay. Most of us. So that was the script. So then, a lot of us, I think, and myself, we spent hours and hours, maybe thousands of hours, trying to recondition and to write a new script and to listen some positive affirmations with money and everything. So, would you say that this is enough, or how to get to the source and really reprogram that?
Yeah. So this, in essence, was the reason why I developed subconscious surgery.
Okay.
Forgive my terminology, but I call it the bastard child of my own rehabilitation.
Ooh, wow, that's a
Which,
term.
if you find a lot of healers, it's because they went into healing and found out a way to heal themselves, and then they go on to help others.
Yeah.
It's a common story in many ways.
Mm.
But from a very young age, I questioned reality, and I read books like Psycho-Cybernetics when I was a later teenager,
Mhm.
and The Magic of Thinking Big, and they kind of introduced me to this concept of how to process reality in a different way and how to look at it.
Mhm.
And that sent me on this journey of exploration of when I was a teenager, I used to say, "Why do I look like this? Why do I talk like this? Why do I
Oh,
act like this?
wow,
Are we the blind leading the blind? Where did I, what is the origins of how I now present myself?"
wow.
Because that's culture.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be able to objectively look at these things and say, well, okay, that's that. How do we get to here?
Mhm.
And I started researching all the different self-development techniques and processes and affirmations and visualizations. And they're great as tools.
Mhm.
But one thing that I found of decades and decades of research is that predominantly there is often one key component missing.
One key. Okay.
And the way to view it is you have a barrier, yeah?
Okay.
A block, as some people call it, a
Mm.
subconscious block.
Yeah.
What does that mean? It means that your mind has created this wall
Mhm.
and it's trying to protect you from what's on the other side of the wall.
Okay.
Problem is it might be the thing on the other side of the wall is success and money.
Yeah.
But your brain has said, no, it's impossible. People like us, we never achieve anything. We're not born with a silver spoon. And all of these narratives about, oh, it's graft, you've got to work hard. And
Mhm.
sometimes that doesn't equate in our system.
Yes.
The story, the narrative, the psychology, the thing that is the ultimate affirmation. Because everything that we say is an affirmation.
Yeah.
Not just, I am successful, I am confident, I am proud, I am, we say these affirmations intentionally because
Yes.
that's what we want to be.
Yes.
But the fundamental thing is your relationship with that story is what drives it. So if you're saying, I'm confident, but your subconscious is, no, I'm not, right?
Yeah.
That's the resistance.
Yeah.
And the way to look at it, it's like a proverbial tug of war.
Okay.
You have your affirmation,
Yes.
what you want to be, the desire
Yes.
on this side.
Yes.
And then you've got your fundamental objective reality that's conditioned into your neurophysiology on this side.
Yeah.
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 I'm successful. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm abundant. I can't afford my rent. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it tugs you back and forth.
Yes.
Now, whichever team on either side of the rope is the strongest is the
Yeah.
direction you're going to go.
Yeah.
So if your subconscious disbelief or your subconscious wounds or this story that, no, if you become successful, then that having money is responsible. And I remember my uncle, he came into a load of money and then he kept getting people coming to asking, I've got, I need chemotherapy and it's going to cost me 50,000 or my child's going to die.
Mhm.
And it's like, well, I don't want the responsibility of choosing whether someone lives or not.
Yeah.
And I've got 100,000, but 50,000 is half of it, and like I don't want to give half my money away. And you've got all
Yes.
this story,
Yeah.
and it creates a different story. It's like I am scared of being in that position, so if I avoid being in that position,
Mm.
then I'll never have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Now your desire is to be in that position.
Yeah.
The the pivotal kind of crossover point when I learned this was when I went to work with a guy called Jack Canfield. He wrote a book called Chicken Soup for the Soul,
Mhm.
one of his most famous books.
Yeah.
And while he was developing this book, he'd written it and then it actually been taking it out to publishers.
Yeah.
And he'd been to 130 publishers and been flat rejected. Nobody wants a book of short stories and inspirational stuff. Nobody's going to be interested in that.
Okay.
Was the general feedback.
Mhm.
And he met this guy called Dr. John, and using a process of kinesiology, muscle testing,
Mhm.
he mapped out his relationship with money.
Okay.
This is stuff that I teach in my workshops. Remember, we did the workshop the other day where we were going through this muscle testing or psychokinesiology process. And it works like a lie detector. So the idea is to find out where you're lying to yourself.
Mm.
You might be saying, I am rich and abundant,
Mm.
but, and this is the key, if saying that statement causes you cognitive dissonance,
Mm.
a lot of people watching this may have heard that term.
Yeah.
What it means is a conflict.
Yeah.
There is a conflict between one reality and a different reality.
Mm.
That's why I said earlier, you don't get what you want, you get what you expect. That cognitive dissonance is you're saying, I am wealthy and abundant. Your expectations are, we've never been wealthy and abundant. I don't know what you're talking about. My parents told me it was hard work. People like us never achieve it. There's too much stress involved. And that's the story.
Yes.
And that's where the conflict is.
Okay.
So if you're wanting to gain traction in this tug of war, what you have to do is shoot and sabotage the side which is the conflict,
Okay.
the story that's going, no, you're not worthy. No, it's too dangerous. No, people like us never achieve that. Earning above a certain amount causes you stresses and problems.
Mm.
And that is the real key, finding that story, finding that narrative. And once you find that story, and everybody has a slightly different origin story to
Yeah.
it. But you have to find the language to it. Oh, excuse me.
That's okay.
We have to find the language to it.
Mhm.
And the language is stored in your body. We call it psychosomatic.
Okay.
Psycho is the mind, soma is the body. Again, you will have probably heard the term psychosomatic. It's often used in medical terms.
Yeah.
So if something's psychosomatic, often it leads to what we call the placebo effect,
Mm.
where we fool somebody into thinking they're being healed by giving them a sugar pill,
Yes.
and then their body physically heals it.
Yeah.
The other term for this is what we call the nocebo effect. The nocebo effect is how the psychology created the illness in the first place.
Yes.
This is Deepak Chopra's work. About 80 to 85% of illness is psychologically related.
That's crazy.
What that means is, and this is how the subconscious works,
Mm.
it's your somatic embodiment. If you understand that when you are in perfect psychological health, you are in perfect physical health,
Mm.
because 85% of disease is psychologically related. And the way it operates within the body is if you have an anger issue,
Mhm.
for example, well, the liver, the psychosomatic language that's attached to the liver is anger.
Yeah.
So anger causes dis-ease in the liver.
Yeah. Yeah.
So every single muscle, every single organ, every single part of your body, every single disease has psychology attributed to it.
Mhm.
Books like Louise Hay, Heal Your Life.
Yeah.
There's another book, Feelings Buried Alive Never Die by Carol
Yeah.
K. Truman. In these and various Chinese traditions as well. I was in China and learning some of these ancient Chinese
Mhm.
healing modalities. And they
Mm.
started going around the psychology of each finger. And then I was looking in the Louise Hay book and the other book, and I was like, oh, okay, all of them say the same psychology as this ancient Chinese tradition.
Yeah.
So this is the psychosomatic.
Okay, but maybe to really give a practical um, exercise, maybe for the audience, if we take one belief about money, for example, that I might have, can we do um, maybe kind of the process that you like to do? So, for example, the muscle testing would be the first one,
Yes.
and then you have something to change the so how would it work?
That
Like,
the change in it is a little bit more challenging and convoluted.
yeah.
But what I can do is introduce you now to a very simple process. I've got a free link where you can learn. I've got a training program that I can actually give to you for free of charge to
Oh,
learn this process.
that's
We
a
did
good
this
idea.
workshop the other day, and we
Okay.
taught you the basics of kinesiology, muscle testing.
Yes.
The way to look at this process is quite simply like a lie detector. When we say something that's incongruent to our core beliefs,
Yeah.
we have this conflict, this cognitive dissonance.
Yes.
That conflict in the brain causes different reactions in the brain.
Yes.
So, for example,
Mhm.
we might need to move
Yeah.
the microphones because I need to come a bit closer. So, this is just an edit. With muscle testing,
Yeah.
kinesiology,
Mhm.
what we're doing is we're deflecting a muscle of some sort. Any muscle will do. They all do the same.
Okay.
For demonstration purposes, I often like to use the one where you just put your hand out.
Okay.
Now, for the purposes of you learning this, if you're doing it at home and you've got somebody that you can do with this now, feel free. And what you're going to do is choose whoever's going to be tested, and you use the non-dominant arm, which is one of the keys. The dominant arm you can control better, so you get more false positives and false negatives. You can beat this if you really try. The essence is the real art to this is circumnavigating that, because this is a lie detector for you. This is a truth mechanism to make sure you're not lying to yourself. So if it comes down to money, what we can do is we'll do a calibration at first. So I normally put my fingers over the wrist bone here, and then I push down. The key that will happen is I will say resist, and then when I push down, he will literally counter that. But first, he has to be relaxed. The key is when we do the test, he's going to say a statement. When he said the statement, I will push. If he is tensed before he says the statement, he's sent a signal already, so it's not going to be disrupted by the statement. This is the sensitivities around this. So first of all, we'll do a calibration. We'll just say resist, resist, as you can, as you can. Right, okay. So we're just getting a baseline. How strong, how wobbly, how reactive. We're just getting a feel for what that normal level is. So relax, relax. And now resist again. Resist, resist, resist. Okay. Good strong shoulder. Be careful if someone's got any injuries. We don't want to hurt anybody. Now, we use a simple calibration exercise.
Okay.
What we can say is, I am a man. And resist. Yep, so say it. I'm a man.
I am a man.
And resist. Okay. Still nice and strong. Again, so we'll go, I'm a woman.
I'm a
And
woman.
resist, nice and strong.
It's crazy.
That was actually quite, there was a big difference.
Yes.
Right? Go back to, I'm a man.
I'm a man.
Resist. Okay. Rock solid and strong. I'm a woman.
I'm a woman.
Right. See you and I'm a woman. Yeah.
You got me.
That's the key.
Okay.
Right? So straight on. Right? I'm a woman.
I'm a woman.
And resist. Yeah. So that huge difference is that cognitive dissonance. There's a conflict. It's like a lie detector. That lie detector causes conflict in your system. You're going into fight or flight. Your body's going, hang on a minute, this is wrong. Maybe I'm going to get found out. Or maybe I'm in danger. And it trips you.
Yeah.
Yep. You're right.
Yeah.
So what we can do now, if we're going to use this tool for what we call our financial glass ceiling, so this is what Dr. John DeVore did with Jack Canfield.
Okay.
He met him and it was like, I do this kind of process using muscle testing. And Jack was like, oh yeah, I'd love to have a go. So he did what we call the financial glass ceiling.
Okay.
So what we can do is now we can muscle test exactly at what level. Sorry, I'm just going to ask, is it Abel or Abel?
Abel, it's good. Because in French it's Abel.
Abel?
Yeah.
So Abel.
With the French
Okay,
accent.
I just wanted to get it right.
Thank
That's all right. We can edit this bit out.
Yes.
Or leave it in, whatever. So with Abel, what we can do is measure his financial glass ceiling. At what point does he feel a bit exposed here?
I sign up for this.
At what point does the idea, the thought of earning this amount of or X amount of money physically cause cognitive dissonance and make you weak? In fact, we're going to have a play with this.
Oh, nice.
Just to kind of give you an idea of what I'm doing, and this might give you a little aha moment when you see certain things. When you see mentalists where they will say to people, "Oh, just think of the name of your first girlfriend," or think of the color of the card, and they'll be like, "Right, it's." And they do this in front of you. You see them rubbing their fingers, when they're doing it. Oh, yes. So there's a thing called the galvanic skin response. The galvanic skin response is the same mechanism that makes your arm weak. When you trip into sympathetic, we're playing with the nervous system here, what we call the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Parasympathetic is relaxed, sympathetic is triggered. You're in sympathy with the emotion. And when we trip into sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight, several physiological responses happen in the body. The body is preparing for danger. So what it wants to do is it needs more energy. So we dump adrenaline into our bloodstream. Adrenaline's job is to instruct your muscle tissue to burn 4 times the amount of glucose. That's where it gets the energy from. Now, another mechanism is because now we're burning 4 times the amount of glucose, That's going to create more heat. I then need to preemptively get rid of that heat. So I'm going to start sweating, because that's how we cool this system down. We sweat. The evaporation from the moisture basically robs us of heat. Now that is called the galvanic skin response,
Okay.
that micro sweat.
Yeah.
Now, we can go through a method and I can teach you how to feel and experience this in a minute. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this, and I'm going to find Abel's financial glass ceiling, and I'm going to write it down here, and then I'm going to physically test it on him. And technically, if I've got it right, he should go weak at round about the same figure as I write down here.
Wow.
This is what freaks a lot of people out, because this is mind reading. This is telepathy. And it's like, how does this work?
Mm,
And we shall see in a moment. So, right. Okay.
I think I have an idea.
Okay. It'd be interesting if they compare.
Yeah.
Right. So, what we can do is just go back to the normal calibration, just resist. Okay, relax. I'm a man.
I'm a man.
Okay, relax. I'm a woman.
I'm a woman.
Nice big difference. Okay, so the frameworks that we're going to use is I completely love and accept myself now that I am happy to earn up to 10,000 a year, up to 20,000 a year, up to 30,000 a year, and we will keep going up until we get that weakness. Now, one key factor is the bit you go weak might not actually be where you're earning. Sometimes you can earn more, sometimes you can earn less. And there's lots of reasoning around that, which I won't go into right now, but we'll just set a baseline. So resist, resist, resist. Okay. So you just have to listen to me, you don't have to say anything. So as I completely love and accept myself now that I'm happy and comfortable earning up to 10,000 a year and resist. It's a good start.
Okay.
You are.
Yeah.
Up to 20,000 a year. Okay. Up to 30,000 a year. Okay. Up to 40,000 a year. Okay. Up to 50,000 a year. Okay, we're doing all right. Up to 60,000 a year. Okay. Relax, relax, relax. Up to 70,000 a year. Oh, that was a bit. Up to 80,000 a year. Okay. Up to 60,000 a year. Can you see how strong that is? Up
Yeah.
to 70,000 a year. See, it's just,
Yeah.
yeah. So up to a million a year. Yeah. So 60,000 a year. Ah, see how that's good, strong, up to 70,000 a year. Okay. So it slightly, what did I put down? Ah, there you go, up to 70,000.
Wow. Well done. Wow. 70.
So you can physically feel the difference between 60 and 70.
Yeah.
Now, money blocks are incredibly convoluted. I've worked with people for decades. I've worked with billionaires as well, and multi-millionaires.
Yeah.
The one thing you've got to understand is money blocks aren't just for people that haven't got money.
What?
Money blocks
Yeah.
aren't just for people that don't have money.
Yeah. Yeah. You can have money and have money blocks.
You can.
Yeah.
It sounds maybe strange to
Okay.
some,
Yes.
but one of my clients, he had 20.
You're a little bit far. Thank you.
One of my clients, he had 10 million in Bitcoin, 10 million in just cash in the bank.
Yes.
But whenever he had to pay anything out, it would cause him severe anxiety
Wow.
because he wasn't earning at the time. So
Yeah.
every dollar and cent that he spent was a dollar and cent less than he had.
Yes.
So sometimes people get to a plateau. I deal with this probably very often with entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
is they get to a stage and then they plateau
Yeah.
and they seem to get stuck there. And that might be 100,000 a year, it might be 500,000 a year.
Yeah.
It might be 10 million a year.
Mhm.
but they might want to get to 100 million a year.
Yeah.
But 10-year. So with Jack Canfield, when he did that test, he went weak at 2 million a year.
Yeah.
And then when he went weak, he was like, oh my God, he says, for the last 10 years, I've been stuck at like 1.9, 1.8, 1.9, 1.7, 1.8, 1.9. I was fluctuating for the last decade just below 2 million a year.
Mhm.
Now, in his case, what it was is that his subconscious had a belief system around his father. And he went weak. After dissecting this, we found that he believed subconsciously his father would reject him if he was earning more than 2 million a year.
Oh, now we're talking. Mhm.
And what it was is that his father had a contentious issue about. Sorry, let me say that again. What it was, his father had this contentious issue about super wealthy people.
Okay.
He thought they were all awful, obnoxious, despicable humans that crapped on everybody to get to the top.
Yeah.
And you look at like the Bilderbergs and the all these massive companies, Amazon, treat their employees like rubbish.
Yeah.
You can't go on a break to the toilet until X time. You got 5 minutes, and they're just it's awful.
Yeah.
I mean, the challenge is that maybe we have to do these things to build big companies, but whatever it is, that was the reasoning behind his contentious issue with super wealthy people.
Yes.
Now, Jack's conscious mind was like, well, if I can earn 100 million a year, I can show my dad that good people can do good things and look after people and treat people well and still earn good money.
Yeah.
His subconscious was like, no, man, too risky, too risky. No, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Once we've found that story, what we can do then
Mhm.
is use what we call a pattern interrupt.
A what?
A pattern interrupt.
Okay. Okay.
What we need to do is take away the energetic charge from the story, because it's the emotion that drives the priority in our algorithmic search engine.
Yeah, but for example, in my case, if the ceiling is at 70K, we want to find out the story behind it.
Correct.
And how do we do that?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
So,
Mm.
consciously,
Yeah.
you probably haven't got a clue
Yes.
of why you've arbitrarily put this figure
That's
of
what my
70,000
mind.
in your mind.
Yeah.
Now, the first thing that I would do if we were doing a subconscious surgery session and
Mhm.
you'd come to me and say, like, I've been stuck here for a while, I don't know how to get past this, I just seem to be hitting loads of roadblocks.
Yeah.
The first thing is, well, how old were you when this belief system was installed? Now, consciously, you probably don't know.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we can do is go back to the testing method. So this is how I do it with my clients all the time. I don't physically need to be with them to actually test them.
Okay.
My clients can be on the other side of the world. It doesn't make any difference for me. I demonstrate this on my YouTube videos and my workshops. I can do remote testing.
Okay.
In essence, it's it's a very sensitive form of empathy. Some people call it being empathic.
Yes.
We feel other
Other
people's
people message.
emotions.
Yeah.
We sense them.
Yeah.
And this is actually an interestingly and quite well documented phenomenon in many
Empathy.
scientific circles as well.
Okay.
We've got things like mirror neurons. Mirror neurons emulate the feelings that we see and all
Yes.
sorts of things.
Yeah.
Anyway, without getting too deep into that. So, what I can do is what I'm doing in my mind, and what I'll demonstrate in a moment is I'm saying, so Isabel, this story, this limitation that I've imposed on myself, that I've limited myself to below $70,000 a year. It started when I was between 1 and 5, 5 and 10. Okay. Okay. So we can come back to this.
Yeah.
So again, this story of limiting myself to 70,000 a year, this feeling that it's dangerous to earn above that, it's uncomfortable for some reason. This story started from an event that happened when I was between 1 and 10 and resist. No, right. So it was between 10 and 20 and resist. See how solid that was? Okay. So it was between 10 and 15 and resist. Okay, no. So it was 16 and resist. Okay. It was 17 and resist. Okay. It was 18 and resist. See how solid that was? Yeah. So it was 19 and resist. Okay. So it was 18 and resist. It was 17 and resist. Right. It's obviously 18.
Wow.
So what did I put it at?
18. That's crazy. Oh my God. Well done. Thank you. Wow.
I can do this all day.
Wow.
So something happened when you were 18 years old,
Yeah.
which gave you a view of that kind of is my limit for some reason.
Wow.
So again, we're going to start
Mm.
digging into that. Okay, so at 18 years old, this restriction that I imposed upon myself about how much is healthy to earn and comfortable to earn, it was to do with my father. It was to do with my mother. No. It was to do with friends in my environment. No. Okay, it was. It was to do with my first job. Okay, so what, what work? What was your first experience of work when you were around about 18 years old?
I worked with my father during summer, and then my first real job would have been to help in the kitchen of the university.
Right.
Yeah.
So, did you have any desires maybe to be a chef or a cook
No,
or
no, no, no.
no?
So
None
it's
of that.
just student job. I want just student job
It was just
to pay
a simple job.
aside
Okay.
university.
What was your aspirations at the time?
Football player.
You wanted to be a football player.
Yeah.
You've got the vibe of a
Thank
football
you.
player. Yeah. I could see you being interviewed on TV as a football player. Absolutely.
Thank you. It was a dream. Mm.
Okay. And you had this temporary job as a chef or as a cook or as a
No, no, no,
cleaner.
just cleaner. Yeah.
Cleaner.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a very perfunctory task, very low on the wage scale and
Yes.
things like that.
Mm.
What I would be wanting to do now is explore your belief and confidence around becoming a football player.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
So anecdotally, what
Yeah.
comes up for you at the time? Did you have this? Did you have a 100% belief, or did you feel that you had this 100% belief that you
Yeah,
would?
I felt at that time it was when I was playing at the highest level. I was at my highest level personally, so I would definitely could see myself becoming professional. Yeah, and I had more importantly the belief that I was gonna do it no matter what. But then in July um, 2008, so it was I was 17 going I was going to be 18 and I had a car accident and broke my leg. And so yeah, it was a big change, but I was still wanting to go back to playing football and try to become professional.
So you were 17, 18,
Yeah, when I had this accident.
right? Okay, and that eroded maybe some of the
Oh yeah,
belief and
oh,
possibility
for sure,
of doing that.
for sure, but not completely.
What was the circumstances around your accident, out of interest? Were you going to
Scooter,
work or?
scooter with a friend. He was driving, I was behind him, and we got crushed by a car as at at an intersection.
At an intersection.
Yeah,
Was this the weekend or?
weekend, sunny day, beautiful day, Saturday afternoon, something like that, or Sunday afternoon. Yeah,
And were you working at the time?
working. I was working part time
Yeah.
at the university and playing football.
Right, right, right. Okay. And obviously you were unable to work.
Unable to work, unable to train, just doing recovery after the hospital.
Right, right, right,
Yeah,
right, right. So obviously that impacted how much money you could earn at the time as well,
absolutely,
because that'd have been directly correlative.
absolutely. Yes, it was a huge, yeah, event.
Yeah, 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 I can imagine. I can imagine.
Mm,
And that was around about when you were 18. So yeah, that's the type of thing
yeah.
that, hmm,
So it could have been a million a year in my mind before this accident, and then 70K.
yeah, 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 totally, totally, totally. And so I'm just processing some of the
Yeah.
thought processes that would have been going through at the time.
Mhm.
When I do a subconscious surgery session, actually, it's kind of interesting because I'm totally different to how I operate compared to other coaches. Because
Okay.
I'm not a coach. A lot of people get me mixed up with that because I, most of my questioning, I'll ask you a few little questions like I just did then, just to get an idea and put things into context. And that crash, that's that all fits into the kind of the story of how that would develop. That when you were 18, that's when you lost that belief in being able to, earn the big money that a footballer would.
Yes.
Obviously, if you've lost that timeline, that trajectory because of injuries or whatever.
Yes.
And but a lot of the time people come to me and they'll give me the symptom and I just go quiet for 10 or 15 minutes
Okay.
because I don't want to ask them a question. Because as we said earlier, when I
Yes.
when
Your
I said
conscious
your
mind,
conscious
the
mind doesn't know.
script. Yeah, it doesn't know.
It's your embodied knowing.
Yeah.
It's that some people could maybe call it intuition, but it's just emotional memory.
Yes.
Yeah, you know deep down, but I don't need that information right now, so I'm not going to give you it.
Yeah.
But we can tap into it through the body.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time when I'm doing a session, I'm using my testing process
Mm.
and I'm asking questions about is it this, is it that, is it this, is it that? It's a deductive process. It's a process of elimination.
Yes.
So it might not be conducive to a podcast to some degree to do actually a proper session
Yes.
because sitting here in silence for 10 minutes while I kind of eliminate some things might not be as interactive as you would like.
Of course.
So that's kind of what I was doing with it. I'm now looking at the different perspectives of how your mind can then view this.
Yes.
And what I'm experiencing, and it's kind of intuitive,
Yes.
that somebody that was wanting to be a football star and was probably very good at football
Mm.
to support that ideological step in that direction, to then lose some physicality that then potentially prevents that ultimately from happening,
Yeah.
there'd be a lot of disappointment, a lot of emotional turmoil about what your future looks like,
Mm.
because up until now, that was my future.
Yeah.
Now, what do I do with my future?
Mm.
What am I reduced to?
Yeah.
So that is the process without digging really deep into it, just to
Mm.
make it kind of relatively surface level to some degree that we can actually achieve on the podcast,
Yes.
is that event changed the way you looked at the rest of your life.
Yes.
And it made you in some ways feel or believe that the big bucks are no longer possible because your real core talents was football. Now that's kiboshed, and you've got to now settle into the reality of what else do I do?
And so that's the new script then.
That's the new script.
Wow.
Is
I
big
never.
money's not possible. As somebody that's injured and can't go and do what my core talents are, then
Yes.
it's my secondary talents, and
Wow.
I'm
Be-
probably not going to earn as much as I did as a football player.
yeah, because that's crazy. It's I can now understand because before the accident, I could see myself playing in the top clubs, playing the Champions League and all of that. And so it's the salary is millions per year, right? And then after the car accident, I was like, no, I'm gonna be a football player, but maybe I will play in second league and I will earn around 5 to 10K a month. And it's around 70K. And I'm like, yeah, it's oh my God. So okay. Now some people well
I love
yeah,
these moments. I have
yeah.
these every time with a client where
Ah,
I'll just plant this and they go. I remember doing one where it'd been stuck on 70K for
yeah,
like decades.
yeah,
And I told him it started when you were 28. And it was like, that's the first year I hit 70K. Interestingly, it was 70K. And it was like, but I've been stuck there ever since. And I narrowed it down to, I says, oh, there was somebody there that was earning 120K, which was obnoxious. Everybody hated him. It was one of those big,
oh,
cheesy kind of, I'm better than everybody, you're all
superstar.
plebeians. And he bragged and was,
Yeah,
and everybody hated him. And his subconscious was like, well, to earn 120K, you've got to be this obnoxious, arrogant arsehole. And I
yeah,
don't want to be that, so I'm just going to stay here.
yeah.
It's that
And be a
kind
nice
of
person.
reasoning. It's the what we
Yeah,
call the flea syndrome. We
but
condition ourselves.
so now we most of test we got through the script that have been running, and so that's why my life is at that point. And so now to go to the life that I want, that is more abundant without this much limitations, uh, what what would you advise to write a new script, to feel new emotions, to yeah, what would it be?
The first step that we have to do, because remember my analogy earlier is the block.
Yes.
So you've got to get rid of the resistance.
Mm,
This is where everybody goes wrong. In self-development at the moment, that's one of the key features that I found is that people attempt to use brute force and ignorance to push through it.
okay.
So, no, I'm a millionaire and I'm abundant and I'm going to say it aggressively. So,
Yeah.
and they attempt to break the barrier down with positivity.
Yeah.
It sounds great,
Conscious mind.
but it doesn't work
Yeah.
to the most part.
Yeah.
It's like trying to knock down the Hoover Dam with a toffee apple hammer. You're just not, it's just too big a thing for too small a tool.
Yes.
What you've got to do is get rid of the barrier. We've got to get rid of the resistance. You've got
Right.
rid of the emotional charge
Mhm.
because you had to go through an emotional experience where you had to resign yourself to the fact that that's no longer possible.
Yeah.
And this is my lot in life.
Yeah.
And it's a blinkered view.
Yeah.
The challenge with these things is that there's so many opportunities in our
Yeah.
peripheries.
That's just what I was thinking. Like when I stopped football and it was like a blank sheet of paper and I'm writing my new script, everything was possible. Why did I choose this script that I'm experiencing right now at 26? I could have chose anything else.
Yeah. And it was just a default script
Yeah.
because of the tunnel vision.
Yeah.
Football is the only thing I'm good at. I'm now unable to do this level of football, so the only thing that's left is this level of football.
Yeah.
It's not that there's 100,000 different ideas that could make me a millionaire. It's just that along this psychological trajectory of thought, my deductive processes associated that. and my creativity is not expanding beyond this because this is my tunnel vision. This is my narrow field of view.
Yeah.
And because you're still wanting to utilize what skills you have, it's just that you can't utilize them at the level that you previously was hoping to do.
Yeah.
What we need to do now, so if I was working with you on a one-to-one,
Mhm.
I would do a bit more testing
Okay.
because I need to get a bit more language.
Mhm.
So again, in the book, Feelings Buried Alive Never Die, we have,
Feelings buried alive never dies.
so it's this book here. When we go up, and I can show you this, you've got from A to B or A to Z of different parts of the body.
Whoa.
If we took one of these, let's say receding hair, feeling inadequate or worthless.
Wow.
Yeah, if we go to indigestion, feels everybody's against you, feel you need to fight your way through life, feelings of anxiety, fear of losing job or losing security, lack of understanding what, how, when, where, or why in life. Yeah, feeling a bit lost. Again, we'll just randomly go through obesity, using food as a substitute for affection, inability to admit to self or others that what you really desire, inability to express true feelings, seeking love, protecting the body, trying to fulfill oneself, and stuffed feelings. So we stuff things inside and we use food as a mechanism to do that. So all of these things
Mhm.
are what we call psychosomatic. It's energy that's stored in the body and it expresses through your body as a physical expression we call disease.
Yeah.
Like the liver will give anger will give liver disease.
Yeah.
Just like if you want to protect yourself, one of my clients, for example, again, just to give you a little bit of an idea of how deep this can go, I had a client who was morbidly obese.
Yeah.
I mean, they were
Mhm.
huge,
Mhm.
and they had been all their lives. And they attempted all sorts of things, and none of it had worked to reduce it. And I was sat with her, and we did all the testing. We looked at fat and obese and all these kind of different things. And I might scan the body, and it might bring up pancreas, which might be something to do with diabetes or whatever. But all of these have different language attached to it.
Mhm.
And then I came back to her and said, right, what it is because we tested how old you were. So when you were 3 years old,
Mhm.
something happened with your father which robbed you of your feeling of security.
Mhm.
And from then on, you didn't feel safe. And that's when you started protecting yourself.
Okay.
Her response at the time was like, my father was the most kind, loving, thoughtful, generous, warm. He's just the nicest man you would ever meet. I can't imagine he would do anything to me to make me feel insecure.
Yeah.
And I was, well, why don't you just go home and ask your parents? So that evening, she rang her mum. And she said, Mum, did anything happen when I was 3 years old with my dad, which made me feel insecure? And her mum's direct response, she told me it verbatim. She was like, her mum went, oh, yeah. When you were 3, your dad got a promotion at work. I mean, literally, nearly doubled his wage, but we had to move 80 miles. And oh, you kicked and screamed. You didn't want to move your birth home. You loved it here. You were moving away from all your friends. You hated it. You really didn't want to move. And do you know what? That's when you started putting on weight.
Wow.
Unprompted, she hadn't mentioned the weight. She just asked if there was anything happen when she was 3 years old.
Yeah.
And her mum finished it off with, well, that's when you started putting on weight. And
Yeah.
it was like this aha moment.
Yeah. Like I had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of people think traumas is someone did something bad to you. Her father didn't do anything bad
No,
to her
it's the
directly. It was
it's the
very
experience.
indirect.
That's the way she or he experienced.
It was the way she processed
She
it.
processed it.
Yeah, it was her experience. Her, excuse me.
That's okay.
Her moving away from her birth house, her safe place,
Mhm.
she'd attributed to her dad getting a.
Yeah, insecure. Right. She's been insecure because of that. But then the awareness, does the awareness of that is enough, or what we do after that?
No, we have to.
Remove the block.
Correct. The way we remove the block is once we've got that body of language and this reasoning and the story. So, like in your case, there was this feeling of resigning yourself to here.
Yes.
I want it here, but now I'm gonna have this is it.
Yeah.
And like you just worked it out,
Yes.
5 to 10k years, around about 70k is the average of it.
Yes.
So that's the arbitrary figure that you've now kind of fuck that's just where I'm going to be now.
Yes.
And so we've got to remove the energy from that.
Yeah.
So we have what we call a processing statement.
Processing
Yeah.
statement.
At the moment, as we proved with our testing statement, I'm comfortable and I'm happy to earn up to blah, 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 blah. You're not comfortable and happy to earn above 70,000.
Yes.
There's this weird, arbitrary, just psychology
Cognitive
that you sort of like, you're unhappy now. This is your lot. I'm never going to earn above that. Right? That's the story.
That's the story. Yeah.
So we have to then create a story where I would say the opening statement would be, I completely love and accept myself.
I completely love and accept myself.
I call it the Jedi mind trick.
Okay.
Yeah, it is not the drone you're looking for.
Okay.
Is we're going to convince the mind of something that's the opposite to what it is. So at the moment, I completely don't love and accept myself and earn above that amount
Yeah.
for this story. So again, in a session, I would dive into this a bit more and get the details and scan your body, find out where else it's stored. Oh, the hips have got something to do with it. So I'd look at the language of the hips. So in this case, let's say it was the hips. We could look in here, fears making major decisions, has nothing to look forward to in life. So the having nothing to look forward to in life could be quite poignant for you.
Okay.
Because you were looking forward to being a superstar football player, and then now you're going to be just an average football player.
Mhm.
Yeah. Lack of emotional physical support. So that's related to the hip. So I might test that. It's like, oh, no, it's not that. Yes, it has to do with the part of that psychology is I've got nothing to look forward to.
And then we work on that.
So then I start integrating that into the story, the narrative. So it might be, so as a Belle, I completely love and accept myself. Even though when I was 18, I resigned myself to mediocrity
Mhm.
because I didn't have anything to look forward to because of my injuries.
Mm.
That's a very simple statement.
So that's the conscious part of
That's the
the work.
subconscious.
Subconscious.
Yeah, that's the subconscious part. Is the story that's in the back of the mind is I've got nothing to look forward to. I'm never going to earn big money
Mhm.
because physically I'm not the same person as I used to be.
But if I repeat the new statement, it's still
It's a little
conscious.
bit more detailed than that. So
Oh.
I use a thing called Pythagorean. Pythagoras was the first scientist who found out and discovered that certain sound frequencies
Mm.
have a physical effect on the
Reaction.
body.
Yeah.
And we created what we call the Pythagorean scale, which is 432 hertz as A.
Mhm.
You might have seen all sorts of things on YouTube of cymatics, and when you look at music, it's recorded in 440 hertz. And if we do it at 432 hertz, the pattern, the cymatic pattern that it makes, are totally different. They're more
Yes.
pretty, and these are more destructive. There's sort of like a bit of conspiracy around the harmonic signatures that modern music is created. It creates
Absolutely.
dissonance, and yeah, it's a totally different subject. But this is what it's all about. In
Yeah.
fact, in my research, all of the modalities that use sound as healing throughout the world all of them are in the Pythagorean spectrum.
Okay.
8 hertz harmonics, where 8 hertz is the fundamental and everything's a harmonic of 8 hertz. 8 is 16, 32, 64, 128, 256. Even our phone's memory is in
Exactly.
Pythagorean
That's
mathematics.
gigabyte. Yeah.
Yes, there's also in silica dioxide itself, which is the material that we use to store it. There's 8 valent electrons. So kind of interesting.
Yeah.
The Ashta project that I mentioned earlier, Ashta is Sanskrit for 8, and eight's a very interesting number in so many different ways, but I'm not going to get into it here.
Yeah.
So what we need to do, quite simply, is find the story, the in-depth story, and there might be more nuances to it that we need to discover to create what I call a processing statement.
Okay.
So we describe the pain.
The pain. Yeah.
The pain is that I had an event and that made me look at life differently.
Yeah.
And that made me believe that now this is my lot in life and I cannot do better than this.
Mm.
And what we need to do is describe that pain in a visceral way. Have at the beginning, I completely love and accept myself, even though I
Yes.
have this psychology. And that's where the Jedi mind trick comes in. It's a reverse psychology. And this is where the pattern interrupts. So we use the meridian just under the eye. This is the stomach meridian.
Taping.
Yeah, tapping.
Tapping.
You might have heard of EFT, emotional freedom tapping. This is an
Yeah.
old technique where you tap here, and you tap here, and you tap here, and you tap here, and you tap here. There's all different areas.
NLP.
That's right.
Kind of.
Well, it's not NLP, it's
Okay.
EFT.
Okay.
Now, these are what we call meridians.
Yeah.
And they are energetic channels. In fact, a lot of people thought these were a bit weird and esoterical, even though the Indians talked about them with nadi points and Chinese with meridians and so forth.
Yeah.
If we talk about nerves, we can see the nerves. It's a sinew of myelin which connects everything.
Yeah.
Now, what they interestingly found out about meridians is that there are channels from the places on the body where they say we have meridian points.
Mhm.
The cells, every cell in your body has an electromagnetic torus field.
Mm.
Some research has shown that the cells around the meridians have torus fields 8 times more powerful than other
8
cells.
times.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is kind of an interesting number as well.
Yeah.
And below that, when they use special dyes, they can actually find channels which go from these points and lead around the body. So
Okay.
we've got evidence now that these are
Oh,
actually real physical attributes. It's not,
meridians.
yeah, they're
Okay.
not esoterical things anymore.
Invisible things. Yeah.
We've tracked them, we've measured them,
Yeah.
and we get physical responses.
Yeah.
And so when we tap this is the stomach meridian. All fear starts in the stomach.
Oh, yeah.
So the idea is what I will get you to do in a subconscious surgery is we will get down to that real deep story. What
Yeah.
is the self-admission? What is that I'm admitting myself, which is the problem? Yeah, that wound.
Yeah.
And then we use a language. I say language is my scalpel. That's how we remove this thing. We've got to get the language precise.
So
That's
the,
why we need the psychosomatic language, that story.
Mm.
And then we use opposite language, like the processing. I completely love and accept myself, even though I've resigned myself, blah, 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 blah. And we're dealing with the negative attributes.
so that the
And then we're
destruction of the
tapping
growth.
here. I'm playing Pythagorean frequencies, and you're repeating this statement over and over and over again. You just keep repeating it.
Wow.
And you're like, I completely live and accept myself, even though I blah, 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 say the long story. This is where I differ from EFT.
Okay.
EFT are very generic statements.
Yeah.
Right? It's the same statement for everybody.
Yeah.
Where mine, it is very surgical
Mhm.
as far as your story is slightly different than his story
Mm.
because your experience in life was different than his.
Okay.
Not everybody's financial block is the same.
Yes.
There are generic ones. There are common ones that I've found in many people due to culture. And I've got these in my mastermind. I've got an online mastermind program, which is a year-long mastermind. It's like an hour a week. every week for a year, and we dive into all of the nuances of applying this powerful technique to your life. So you can measure your financial blocks, you can measure your relationship blocks, you can measure all sorts of psychology of all aspects of your life, and then start reprogramming them. And then we find common ones. And I did subconscious surgeries. There's about 12 of them in the whole program, about one a month roughly,
Wow.
which reprograms your beliefs around money, around relationships, around family, around confidence, and all sorts of things.
Wow.
And there might be certain attributes that you are not generically in there, which then you can come and get one-to-one work and
Yeah.
then say, right, well, I've got a unique one. I've got this thing where I
Nobody
keep,
has.
yeah,
It's pretty rare.
or
At
everything I've
least.
tried. In fact, probably one of the most common statements people say to me afterwards is like, I've had this experience all my life, and up until now, I've never been able to put it into words, and you've just described it perfectly. That's probably one of the most common feedback that I get.
Yeah.
And things like, well, and I've tried hypnotherapy, and I've tried this, and I've tried that, and I've done this, and I've done that, and none of it's worked. And then we had one or two sessions, and it's just totally gone.
Changed.
My relationship with it's changed.
Wow.
Because that's the thing. Remember what I said at the beginning.
Mhm.
Your relationship with the subject matter is what drives what you call the law of attraction.
Your relationship with the thing is what drives.
It's
Is
your
what? Yeah.
expectations.
Yeah.
So at the moment, your relationship with earning money
Yeah.
was determined by an accident that you had,
Mhm.
which changed your trajectory massively in life.
That's my relationship with it.
That's your relationship at the moment,
That's the
is
thing.
that wound, that loss
Yeah.
of a future because of an accident.
Yeah. And so the last question, I think, or one of the last question would be, it feels like we don't have that much free will if our lives are directed by our wounds, right? Because s- some people might say, no, it's we only live in this 3D reality. You just have to put actions and you will get more. Like you want to have 1 million a year, you just have to do this, and this, like a business coach would say. And then I do a session and a podcast, and I'm like, okay, so now I have the script that is running my life. So yeah, what do you think about the free will? Yeah, are we condemned?
This is a can of worms you've just ripped open here in so many ways when we're talking about free will. If you've ever said to anybody, "Oh, I feel it was like destiny we were supposed to meet."
Yeah,
If you've ever said that, what you were doing at that point is completely and utterly destroying all of your free will that you've ever had in life. Because if we were destined to meet, all the choices that I have ever made led me to this point. And if all the choices that led me to this point, which was destiny, can't have been random, or else we wouldn't have been here and it wouldn't have been destiny. So that means every choice I've ever made was made for me to get to this point.
yeah,
It's kind of interesting. Whether it's true or not is my objective assessment of this. And when I say objective assessment, what I mean by that is I've explored this phenomenon, this
yeah,
postulation, this idea, this philosophy of free will, and I've experimented and objectively looked at this as do we have it?
yeah,
Is everything predetermined,
yeah.
or do we have influence?
Mm,
I think it's both in some ways, and I will clarify what I mean by that.
yes,
If you look at it like a pinball game,
pinball.
you know, pinball where you push the buttons and it flings the ball up, and then
Oh yeah,
things go
this.
ping, 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 and it bounces it around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's okay. It's tough.
I'd like to get on before I've lost my thread of talking.
The pinball.
So in the pinball of life,
Yeah.
I believe it's like one long road.
Okay.
The Earth is going around the center of our galaxy, and there's nothing you and I can do to change that.
Yes.
So that trajectory we know is fixed.
Okay.
We don't have any free will of where this big lump of rock we seem to reside on is flying through the universe.
Yeah.
We don't have any free will to adjust the seasons.
No.
Unless we go to a different part of the planet which has different seasons.
Buddy.
So that's the free will.
Okay.
I could go and live in Switzerland and have a totally different life experience than living in Bali
Yes.
or living in England
Yes.
or living in Guadalajara or whatever. That's my free will. My free will is I could choose right now to drop my phone and disrupt the whole podcast. What was that free will? It just fell.
Yeah.
But on a micro level,
Mhm.
we can make choices. I could say, I'm totally bored, get up and walk out, and that would be the end of the podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not, by the way.
It's
but
free will.
that would be my freedom of choice.
Okay.
On a micro level, it probably wouldn't be a good end to the podcast. And, it might go viral for that reason. I don't know, right?
Yeah.
But on a macro level, so some of my reasoning has been through projects, things like you've got Nostradamus.
Yeah.
Very famous
Yeah.
is Nostradamus.
Yes.
And his quatrains, which some people read into that he predicted the future. Oh, he predicted, such and such then and such
Oh, it
events and
traveled through time
all sorts of
and reincarnation and everything.
Well, they believe they predicted Hitler and certain, things that happened, major events.
Yeah.
One of my good friends is a guy called Stefan Schwartz,
Mhm.
and he has been researching remote viewing. The CIA released documents not too long ago about remote viewing.
What do you mean by remote viewing?
Its technical term is what we call non-local consciousness.
Being able to be at different places or to have information on the other side of the world, even though you don't have contact with them or something like that.
Yes,
Yeah.
in essence.
Yes.
What it is that there are people which have the skills to, if I said to you, say you're the remote viewer, and I'll say, right, there's someone called George, they're sat in Times Square next to the I don't even know, there's a fountain, I'm making this up as I go along, but, if we picked a place in France, or they're at this cafe, sat at a table, what do they have in their pocket?
Oh.
They could go, oh yes, they've got a wallet, which is pink, with two $20 notes in it. They can actually
Yes.
do things to that level of detail.
Yes.
They're placing their conscious somewhere else on the planet. I do a reform of remote viewing. When I said I can test people no matter where they are,
Yes.
I'm putting my consciousness in their consciousness. I'm saying something as if I am them, and my body reacts as if it's theirs.
But actually, that's what you did with me a few
Correct.
minutes ago.
And then I wrote the answers down.
Even though we're here, you did Isabel, and then put your consciousness here, and
Yeah.
that.
And what I was doing is my body would react as if it's yours because
Yeah.
it doesn't know separation. We're all one.
Yeah.
Maybe an esoterical subject, but it's written everywhere. Quantum mechanics support it, so it's grounded in some form of reality as well.
Yeah.
But the demonstration is I can do this over and over and over and over and over and over and again, and always get the result that you physically muscle test.
Yeah.
I've even had it in workshops where I've got other people to muscle test each other, and then they've said, "What's my love language or monetary figure?" And I've given exactly what they muscle tested together, and I wasn't even involved in the process.
Wow.
I did that in Switzerland actually.
Oh, yeah?
The consciousness hacking workshop I did in Switzerland.
Oh, nice.
So ultimately, everything is stored in your body.
Yeah.
All your consciousness is your body.
Okay.
But your consciousness does not reside in the body.
Yeah, it's a choice.
It's on the other side of the veil, as some people put it.
Okay.
My favorite analogy of this is Avatar. In Avatar the movie, the soldier
Yeah.
goes into a pod,
Yeah.
and the pod broadcasts and transmits his consciousness into the alien.
Yeah.
He's not in the alien. He hasn't put on an alien suit.
Yeah.
He's controlling the alien telepathically, in essence. You
Oh.
construed it.
That's how you see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
His consciousness is controlling the alien. He is using the alien's eyes, arms, everything, breathing. He embodies the alien
Yes.
because he's using all the senses and the physicality of the alien to experience life.
Mm.
But he's still in the pod.
Okay.
The soldier's still in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
pod.
The body is still there,
Yes.
and the consciousness
But
as
the
well. As you
consciousness,
say.
but he's there.
Yes.
It's just that it's like if we get a DJI drone and we got a headset, we can fly the plane and look and the craft and look out of it, and with the headset we can look around and stuff.
Yes.
So we're operating through the drone and we're experiencing reality. I'm 500 feet up in the air looking over a mountain. I'm not. I'm stood at the bottom of the
Yeah.
mountain instead.
Yes.
It's that kind of analogy.
Okay.
So consciousness does not reside in the body,
Mm.
right? It's streamed in live. This is a drone.
Yeah.
So in essence, what we can do is we can just, this is what the Matrix is all about, is disrupt the carrier signal. What we can do is take that signal away and put it somewhere else.
Yeah.
That is, in essence, what non-local consciousness or remote viewing is. Again, something that isn't ambiguous, it isn't woo-woo, it is hard science.
Yeah.
This has been tested. My friend did it for 50 years. He's done 23,000 experiments, some with the military. One of them he did with the military. He wanted to find out if consciousness was electromagnetic in form. So are we broadcasting our thoughts like a radio,
Yeah.
as in like a radio signal?
Yeah.
An EEG, an electroencephalograph, actually that's what it's measuring. It's measuring the emissions of radio signals or electromagnetic signals
Yeah.
that our brain gives off in patterns.
Yeah.
That's what an EEG does.
Yeah.
So he wanted to establish whether this was how this non-local consciousness or remote viewing works.
Mm.
Is it electromagnetic or is there another phenomenon?
Yeah.
The only way to do that is to put people in Faraday cages. A Faraday cage is a mesh or screen that absorbs radiation and stops it from going. It's a barrier, physical barrier for radiation.
Okay.
Yeah, you can buy these for your home. I'd highly advise them. You can get fly nets, which are
Okay.
copper fine mesh things, and you ground it, and no Wi-Fi can get through.
Mm.
You're totally protected from
Okay.
radiation, from
Oh, that's good.
routers, and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So he put these remote viewers in Faraday cages and got them to do remote viewing to see if it prevented them from being able to do the remote viewing as accurate as they normally do.
Yeah.
And he'd done all of these Faraday cages apart from ultra low frequency. Ultra low frequency electromagnetic radiation.
Yeah.
The only way you can screen ultra low frequency electromagnetic radiation is by being half a kilometer underwater.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because no Faraday cage will do it. You've got to be literally, I've got to have a body of water 500 meters deep to screen all electromagnetic radiation completely.
Okay.
So he approached the US Navy. And he says, look, I want to do an experiment. I want to borrow one of your nuclear submarines.
Wow.
I want to put one of our remote viewers on the submarine, take them down, and see if they can still do remote viewing.
Wow.
And the US Navy was like, that's actually quite interesting because when our nuclear submarines go below 500 meters underwater, they go dark.
Yes.
We can't communicate them to them anymore
Yeah.
because all electromagnetic radiation, so we can't, radios don't work.
Yes.
So they said yes.
Wow.
And they took one of the remote viewers down and they could still read the cards and everything like that. Just normally, no difference.
So they could drive the submarine that way.
They could communicate. Yeah.
Communicate or drive, yeah. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, there is a notion that I wanted to mention as well is quantum entanglement or something like that.
Quantum entanglement, yes.
Yeah. And so how can it be related to the law of attraction? Like we put our attention to this person, for example, that we want to attract, a romantic relationship or something like that, and they think about us, and like wherever we are, there's something happening.
It's a very interesting phenomenon.
Yeah.
And there are a number of scientific facts we know about it, which take it out of the woo-woo esoterical kind of phenomenon.
Yeah.
One of the facts that we know that's been experimentally tested is DNA is quantumly entangled.
DNA
DNA is quantumly entangled
with what? Like
with each other.
human beings?
If I took your DNA, so
Yeah.
for example, one of the tests, and forgive me, I didn't do the test. No bunny rabbits were harmed during explaining this.
Good. I'm safe.
But unfortunately, they were in the original subject. But what they did is they got a bunny rabbit who just had a litter of babies.
Okay.
They separated the babies from the mother.
Yeah.
And then they harmed
The
the
babies.
babies
Yeah.
and observed the mother
Wow.
nervous system.
Wow.
The instant moment the babies were hurt, the nervous system of the mother reacted immediately.
Yeah. And I think about my mom because my mom and a lot of mothers in the world, they can instantly feel when we are sad or, and we can be miles away,
They
like
have this intuitive knowing.
intuitive knowing, and they will just call, "What's up? Are you sad? Are you?
Is
What
everything
happened?"
all right? What happened?
And I
Yeah,
just know. So that's the quantum entanglement with DNA. Or
with DNA. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It's one explanation.
yeah,
Again, especially with mothers.
but not
So with a
just DNA.
mother, they share actually DNA cells. So the cells from the baby
Yeah,
go as much to the mother as the mother goes to the baby.
yeah.
There's been many years afterwards that they have found DNA cells, living cells that were the babies. They're not the mothers.
Yeah.
They were the babies. They've come back in and they've found them in different parts of the body. In fact, we've found some that have migrated to
The
the
body
brain.
of who? Of the
The
mother?
mother.
Wow. But it wasn't because that I'm born in Ethiopia. I'm adopted by a French family. So I don't have the same DNA as my mom,
No.
but she's still able to have that with me.
So there's a book by a gentleman called Rupert Sheldrake
Okay.
called Morphic Resonance.
Morphic resonance.
And it scientifically explains all this phenomenon.
Wow.
Now, one of his tests that he used to do, an experiment, and it's actually, this is one test that I want to scale as part of the Ashta project.
Yeah.
It's called the telephone telepathy test.
Okay.
Now, in the telephone telepathy test, how he did it, he ran one on TV many years ago, decades and decades ago, where he got a group called the Nolan Sisters.
Mm.
And it's 5 sisters that were in this group, pop group, and he put 4 of them in a recording studio, TV studio, and then one of them, another studio 60 miles away.
Yeah.
And the other ones, they sat down to watch a movie or just to distract them. And then one by one, he would take one out from the group of 4, sit them in front of a telephone and say, right, what I want you to do is think of your sister who's sat in the studio 60 miles away. And I want you to think of them for a minute and then pick the phone up and ring them.
Okay.
At the other end, the sister that's by herself, when the phone rings, I want you to intuitively say who you think is calling. And then pick the phone up and see who it is. Now, if it was purely random chance, completely and utter guesswork, it'd be 1 in 4. It'd be a 25% chance of whichever they're going to guess statistically if you do a large sample size. It was something like 60 odd % that they got. one of the real interesting phenomenons is that one of the four who were sat in that group thought it was all woo-woo, complete rubbish, total,
Of course.
BS.
Of course.
They didn't get guessed once.
Guess.
They didn't guess. The woman didn't guess that person once.
Wow.
So it had a bias that went completely the opposite way. Because technically, it still should have been 25% if it was
So
pure guesswork. It was like,
the
it was
placebo.
almost as if she blocked her from
Yeah.
guessing.
Yeah, but it makes sense with everything we said
Yeah,
at the same time. It's her own beliefs experiencing it itself.
yeah. So in the telephone telepathy test, when he would test this phenomenon, if you go out into the street and say to somebody, have you ever been thinking about somebody and all of a sudden they message or call you? About 80% of people have had that experience.
Yeah. But I just want to stay on that because I feel like this is so important to help people know what is good for them to want. Because
That is a very, very,
right,
very powerful statement you just said there.
because people could be miserable their whole life just with the wrong belief system.
Correct.
And so this lady, for example, this sister, like she decided this for her, even though it's not constructive and she's gonna live a horrible life, just because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
that's
because of a story,
because of
just because of a
stuff.
belief. And that belief looks for evidence of it all the time. The reticular activating
All
system
the time.
will always look for evidence and present it to you because that's what you're asking for.
That's what you're asking for.
It's a prompt. You
Yeah.
put a crappy prompt into ChatGPT, you'll get a crappy response.
Yeah, yeah.
You can get it to do anything you want as long as you give it the correct response.
And I think it's based on believing you are creating or co-creating with the creator this human experience. And
Yeah.
this lady, for example, she might don't she might doesn't believe she co-create anything, and she might not even believe in God or universe or whatever. It's often the case. And I organize vision board exercise for my family every year, and one of the things I said this year is like, you got to decide if you want to be happy or if you want to be right. And this one, I didn't expect that for their reaction, but it was, wow, I want to be right all the time.
Most people do.
Yeah.
When people have a conversation, they're listening to respond rather than listening to understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is an art to listening.
Mhm. That's, yeah. To conclude, it was absolutely phenomenal. I could stay for days
Sorry,
with
that
you.
wasn't. Say that again. There was some noise.
Yeah, that's okay. It was a wonderful podcast episode. I could stay with you for like days on this subject. Can you introduce a little bit yourself? I know people like to do that in the introduction, but I wanted to do it now. Introduce a little bit about yourself and your method, please, for the audience.
My method is what I call subconscious surgery. It is a methodical and deductive process mapping out your emotional relationship with certain aspects of your life, finding that underlying story, that underlying narrative. What is it that the subconscious keeps saying to itself, which keeps it trapped in this level of reality, this augmented reality? What are we looking for against what is it that we actually want? And that really is the key, is being able to understand objectively and honestly what are my beliefs,
Yeah.
because desire and fear in many ways feel like beliefs.
Desire
Desire and fear.
feels
So like
like
you desire to, I'm sure, be a millionaire.
yes.
But your fundamental foundational belief is I've lost that opportunity
Oh,
because I had this injury.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And we can dig into that and
yeah,
play around with that, one to one, and we can create that statement and process it out. And
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, we will.
yes, I'm sure. But the reality of the situation is
Mm.
is that our mind is creating this reality based on this emotional relationship we have with it.
Yeah.
And if we label something as danger, then our mind doesn't go, oh no, you're being unreasonable here, right? If you actually look at it from this perspective, there's no danger at all. It goes, oh, you're looking at that as danger, right? I better go and find out all the reasons why that's dangerous for you and let you know. Like the car. You like that car? You don't want to go around looking at all that car. It gets annoying. Oh, there's another one. Oh, God, there's another one. I don't want to see these cars. I just want to drive.
Yeah.
But the mind goes, well, you like it, so I'm going to find it for you, whether you want it or not.
Yeah.
So it's the same with relationships, the same with business partners.
Yeah.
The limiting belief might be that you choose to be in business with somebody that wastes your time,
Mm.
because that proves that everybody's useless, or everybody's rubbish, or everybody's a rip-off artist, or everybody's XYZ.
Yeah.
It's whatever we've labeled it.
Yeah.
But the desire is like any relationship, we often fall in love with the dream, not the reality.
Oh, that one hurts. Yes. Yes.
And things like your experience of the accident
Mm.
is the dream and the reality. That's
Yeah.
the dichotomy. It's like, now I've experienced this, my reality is X. And in that narrow field of vision, that's true. Without that physical prowess you had prior to the accident, it might be that you're resigned to that level, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that there are other trajectories that still could have the same level of income. It could still be within the sport,
Mm.
but you have to reconstruct what that looks like.
Yeah.
And the challenge is that our creativity is governed by our ability to envision.
Yeah.
The old
Yeah.
concept, what man can conceive and believe he can achieve,
Yes. Yeah.
which is true to some degree,
To some degree. Yeah.
because it's not just what you can see, it's what you can conceive and believe.
Believe. Yeah. Yeah.
And if you don't believe it,
Mm.
fundamentally, for whatever reason, and some of these reasons might be utterly meaningless and have
Yeah.
no bearing in reality,
Mhm.
then that's what will govern what you look for in your augmented reality, what evidence is presented to you.
Yes.
Because there's a vast amount of information there. I think a classic one was when I was young. I mean, like, I was a teenager, and my mum's tearing around the house going, I can't find my keys, I can't find my keys, I can't find my keys.
Yes.
And the affirmation is,
I can't find my
I
keys.
can't find my
So I will
keys.
not
What it
find
is
them.
I want to find my
Yes.
keys.
Yes.
And the hilarious
I-
bit was, like, after 10 minutes of running her up downstairs, ran in the living room of this, she ran into the kitchen, stuck her hand in the bin, pulled them out of the bin, and ran out of the house. And I was like, huh? What the hell? And then she just remembered she put them on the kitchen surface and they fall out into the bin, and she didn't do anything about it at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the bit she remembered. But for 10, 15 minutes, she was running around the house going, I cannot find my keys.
Yes.
So in life, what are you running around like a headless chicken in the subconscious mind saying, I can't do this? That's your
Everything
augmented
you will do.
reality.
Yeah. 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 Oh. Can I give you a hug?
Of course.
Oh my God. Amazing moment. Amazing. Thank you, boss.
It's finished.
Yes.